Hello friends, in this video we are going to discover the top 20 most dangerous cities in the US. The crime rate in US cities keeps rising daily, keeping law enforcers on their toes 24/7. From homicide, rape, kidnapping, child molestation, burglary, and armed robbery, to assault, crime is still widespread throughout the country. So, why should you beware of unsafe cities? 2 reasons. 1. You want to be in a place you can comfortably walk on the street without looking over your shoulders or worrying if the person living next to you could be an unsuspected criminal and you might be a more accessible bait. 2. You want to connect the high crime rate to the current dwellers. Could they be engaging in crime due to a failed economy, poor housing, or a corrupt justice system, hence they know they can get away with crime? Could it be their way of life, and many cases go unreported? Kindly make sure to hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon before we start this video about the 20 most dangerous cities in the US. Now let's dig deeper into each of the top 20 most dangerous cities in the US. Number 20. Kansas City, Missouri. If you thought Kansas City, Missouri, was a safe place to live in, consider reassessing your facts and have different views. The city has the nation's 5th highest homicide rate per capita, and most of those incidents go unreported. Did you know there's no city jail in Kansas? You heard that right. The city signed a contract with Jackson County to contain 161 inmates until January 2020. Once it expired, Kansas lacked funds for the new contract. That's why you see more violent crimes increasing. Number 19. Camden, New Jersey. You will likely get mugged or shot for as low as $5 in Camden. The city was known for being a working-class area with street markets and pubs open at ungodly hours until gangs and drug dealers started thronging it. Unsurprisingly, it has a violent crime rate of 16.5 per 1,000 residents. So, if you live, study, or vacation there, your chance of being a victim of violent crime in this city is 1 in 61. Not to scare anyone, but you're better off avoiding strangers or being in vulnerable situations that can cost your life. Number 18. Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Of all cities in Arkansas, Pine Bluff is the most miserable due to people with money leaving for other states due to high crime rates. So, when they go, there's a population decline. The city mayor, Shirley Washington, reported that Pine Bluff is the most dangerous metro area and the 4th most dangerous nationwide. That means that out of 100,000 people, there were 1,098 incidents of violent crime. Number 17. Jackson, Mississippi. The capital city of Mississippi, Jackson, has 164,422 people. However, not everyone living there is a law-abiding citizen. The city's crime rates keep surging, with 5 murders per 100,000, making it 4 times higher than the national average. Other violent crimes include 43 rapes per 100,000 and 86 robberies per 100,000. Property crime rates like car theft, burglary, and arson are also high, so you might want to consider all these factors before moving there. Number 16. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. From muggings and burglary to other violent crimes, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, is one of the unsafe cities in Wisconsin. The largest city in Wisconsin attracts people of all calibers and socioeconomic statuses. Experts advise you to walk with a friend on the streets rather than alone, thanks to the crime rate of 1,332 incidents per 100,000 residents. So, if you have to talk to a stranger, make sure it's in a public place to avoid being bait for criminals. Number 15. Sagano, Michigan. If you live in Sagano, Michigan, you have a 50% chance of being a victim of violent crime. According to U.S. News and World News, it is the 2nd most dangerous city in Michigan with 795 incidents per 100,000 people. The high crime rate made the city council invest in high-definition cameras for $250,000. They use these devices to monitor and identify suspected violent criminals. Number 14. Stockton, California. Stockton is one of the best places to find a good school and property to invest in California. However, it also has high unemployment, which comes with repercussions. Studies suggest that it attracts 1,500 violent crimes per 100,000 residents. So, your chance of becoming a victim of a crime in this city is 1 in 19. The city is known for vehicular theft, property crimes, and other violent crimes. Number 13. Springfield, Missouri. In recent year, Springfield had 356 rape reports. Your home is 300% more likely to be broken into if it lacks an alarm system. Experts believe that the city's violent crime rate is 1,519 per 100,000 every 46 minutes. You can blame the gang members dealing meth and cocaine for the violent crimes. Number 12. Little Rock, Arkansas. Do you have a relative who's a magnet for trouble? If so, they wish they never stepped foot in Little Rock, Arkansas. But if they are law-abiding citizens, they will hardly find themselves in trouble. In short, LR has a high aggravated assault rate, as it is nearly 5 times the national rate. The police are mere cleanup guys who leave cases unresolved at their convenience. Using high-tech safety systems makes you safer in keeping your car and house safe. Also, residents are racists, but they won't physically attack you unless you provoke them. Number 11. Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, Tennessee, is one of those cities you might not want to set your foot in if you value your life. According to CBC News, more than 190 homicides were committed in recent year, and the overall crime rate was 1,901 per 100,000 residents. The atrocious crimes are linked to gang wars and drug wars because there are more than 100 gangs in this city. Places to avoid include Raleigh, Downtown, Spawn, Orange Mound, Parkway Village, Binghamton, and Hollywood. Number 10. Alexandria, Louisiana. Louisiana is one of the states with the highest property crime rates, and Alexandria is primarily to blame. It's believed that out of 100,000 residents, 8,410 engaged in property-related and other violent crimes. The city has a population of 47,238, but not everyone is a saint. That means 1 in 68 people has a chance of being raped or killed. So, if you live, work, or vacation in Alexandria, pray to God that nothing happens to you. Also, report any suspicious behavior to the police. Number 9. Albuquerque, New Mexico. The largest city in New Mexico is Albuquerque, and it has a lot to offer in terms of natural attractions, rich history, and hot air balloon fiestas. Of course, you're dying to be there to experience all these. But before you do, remember that out of 75 people, you could be a victim of crime. Before you pull over your car for any reason, ensure you secure it with an anti-theft device. Most tourists are bait for these criminals, so avoid crowded areas and keep your valuables safe. Number 8. Albany, Georgia. For every 56 people, 1 is likely to be a victim in Albany, Georgia. Out of 1,000 residents, 17 are criminals, and the number keeps increasing. Experts argue that the pandemic might have aggravated the high crime rate as most people's businesses closed down and companies needed to downsize. Do you remember George Floyd, an Afro-American who was murdered by a police officer in the public square? Many people were rattled by this, leading to nationwide protests. Consequently, many people began buying firearms for protection, leading to high homicide rates. The city isn't safe for anyone, whether you're a police officer or an ordinary businessperson. Number 7. Baltimore, Maryland. The U.S. News & World Report ranked Baltimore, Maryland, as the 7th most dangerous metro area out of 150, making it one of the most unsafe places in this city, laden with poverty, drug, and gang-ridden neighborhoods. Fells Point, Mount Vernon, Inner Harbor, and Federal Hill are the only safe areas. Consequently, May 2020 marked the beginning of the Baltimore Police's reforms. Its police department significantly upgraded its new records management systems, embracing a complete digital reporting environment. Number 6. South Bend, Indiana. If you live in South Bend, Indiana, it will be in your best interest to pray that no one attack, murder, or steal from you. The city is the most dangerous metro area in Indiana. As of recent year, the police reported more than 2,121 violent crimes. That means for every 100,000 people, 655 were criminals. Out of 59 people, 1 was more likely a victim of murder, assault, and other violent crimes. Most criminals conduct crimes using knives, guns, and other murder weapons to scare or harm innocent people. Number 5. Wilmington, Delaware. Wilmington, Delaware, is known as one of the best places to live due to the low cost of living. However, that comes with devastating repercussions. Jay-Z, aka Sean Carter, once rapped that he hailed from the murder capital, where we murder for capital. While he might not have mentioned Wilmington directly, he may as well suggest so. 16.5 per 1,000 residents engage in violent crimes, and 1 in 60 is more likely to become a victim. Even in the suburbs of the town where you might feel safe, you have a high chance of becoming a victim of property crime. Number 4. Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland, Ohio, ranks third among America's most miserable cities, making it an unsafe place to live in. This city attracts all types of violent crimes from high unemployment, unfavorable weather, high taxes, and corrupt public officials. It's reported that 1,517 per 100,000 residents commit violent crimes each day. 1 in 59 individuals is more likely to become a victim of violent crimes. If you're living, studying, vacationing, or working there, keep your fingers crossed, hoping not to become a victim. Number 3. Detroit, Michigan. Of all cities in the U.S., Detroit, Michigan, is the worst hit when it comes to 911 services and police availability. The police are hardly enough to protect citizens despite having more than the average number of cops for its population. According to Forbes, 22.6 per 1,000 residents engage in crime, and 1 in 44 has a chance of being a victim. If you live there, watch your back. Number 2. St. Louis, Missouri. The second most unsafe city in the U.S. is St. Louis, Missouri. As of recent year, the city's murder rates were 64.9 per 100,000, with 205 people murdered in cold blood. East St. Louis is notorious for such cases. The city's per capita crime cost is $11,574, compared to Virginia Beach's $611. Perhaps it's why this area has low-income earners who can't put their kids in better schools. People on this side of St. Louis don't have better housing, making them vulnerable to rapists, burglars, and murderers. Number 1. Monroe, Louisiana. If you live or plan to live in Monroe, you better put your home and office security alarm system in place lest you become a victim of violent crime. According to Neighborhood Scout, Monroe, Louisiana, ranked first as the city with the most criminal activities as of the recent year. It's reported that 1 in 34 people living or visiting there were victims of violent crimes. That is a 66% up from the last year, and despite law enforcers trying to arrest, charge, and convict the perpetrators, the number keeps going up. Will the trend change in subsequent years? We'll never know as time will tell. Well, that's all we have for you today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the content of this video, click the subscribe button so you can receive more content like this. Post your thoughts on the dangerous cities among the top 20 most dangerous cities in the US in the comments below. I'd love to read them and I'm sure others would too.